What's going on, guys? Ross here from Consolidata, and today we have a new major feature release, and I am ecstatic about this one. Now, I want to tell you guys how this works. That way you understand why when I say it's in beta right now. So if you remember how Lead Carrot, my old software that I used to own, used to work, you'd run a search and basically it would go scrape a bunch of data and it would go to their website and it would do these things and pull back data points. That's cool. The problem is though is you don't get as much deep data when you're doing things like GMB listings, which we are going to be adding stuff like that in here, but it's like very surface level data because it's like their info at email or the main company phone numbers. And you might be able to get some stuff like review data and stuff like that, but you're not getting the same amount of data as you get for the actual outreach, which at the end of the day really matters big time. So we went through, took a lot of time to spend finding databases that were rich, that were updated frequently, meaning a data needs to be updated every 2 to 3 months. Otherwise, it quickly gets outdated. And instead of going the scraping route initially, we have gone the route of licensing large databases that we're allowed to resell. And so that's what we've done. But with that said, we've got like over 20 million business records that are being scrubbed through our system right now, which actually takes like weeks to be able to get through. And so, because of that, I don't want to wait weeks to be able to get this database out to you. And just so you kind of get an idea as to what that means, there's about 20,000 records that need to go out. And right now, only maybe 5 million have gone through our scrubbing process. And what does that scrubbing process mean? So I'm going to go ahead and I'll just give you an example. If I type in here, say, actually, I might have already done a search on this, so I'll go through here. Okay, trucking in Anchorage. You see this Sourdough Express company? Right now, if you click on that, it has all of these different contacts within that company. And it has positions. Now, you might see the term owner used lightly on some of them. And that can be if they were in a management position or maybe like for a trucking company, they work for them as a subcontractor, but they own, their LLC. Trucking can be a little bit different that way. Use the titles lightly because the way that they're generated is when somebody filled out a business form or like a credit form or something in the past, that's what they used as their title on the form. Sometimes people use a title on the forms, though, that just aren't accurate. And so that's why you'll have these pop up. But, anyways, each one of these is considered a record. But here's why it's taking a little bit to get it all in the system merged, right? Is because obviously we don't want to just display all of them as a lead because they're not all a lead. We want the company to be the lead and then break it down. So our database right now, we set it up to where it's going through over 20 million records and merging them by company and then scrubbing data and making sure stuff is accurate and complete. And so that takes a while. And the reason I want to explain that to you is because I want you to go ahead and start using it and testing it, but I don't want you to get discouraged if over the next week you're not seeing the volume of data that you would have hoped for. So let me give you an example. If I typed in right now chiropractor Milwaukee, I know Milwaukee does not have much, Wisconsin area does not have much data right now just from where it's through in the data set. So if I click on generate, it's going to, since it couldn't find any leads, it says your leads are currently being processed. Please check back shortly. That means that once those leads get processed and they're in the system, you're going to have to come back and do the search again, but they will be there over like the next week or so. If I go through here though, and I typed in chiropractor, and let's just take an area like Houston, Texas. Let's see here. Let's try Orlando because I actually have never done a search in Houston, so I don't know. Okay, Orlando, chiropractors in Orlando, it found 27. So I click on them, and there you go. It's got a bunch of chiropractors here in Orlando. You can go through and you can see if there's revenue data, you can see that right up in here. You can see how many employees, you can see who the contact is, phone number, etc. So it's a really cool tool. Now, once you have the data, there's a few things that you can do with it. First thing is you can export it to a VoiceBot audience. However, use this with caution. And I say this because we are creating an API with the do not call list. Everything needs to be scrubbed against DNC. Cold calling businesses is pretty safe, but use it at your own discretion. I don't want you to say, oh, Ross said that's legal, because here's where you could run into an issue. Let's say that one of these contacts has their cell phone in here and they're on the do not call list, and you do a voice bot to them. Although it's probably going to be okay, there's a chance that they could come after you. So be careful with this right now, because we still haven't run that against. If it was me, I would probably in the moment stick to cold email and audiences, or cold calling people as a human. That's my take on it. Eventually, you'll be able to use this, scrubbing it against the do not call, etc. I'm not holding you back on it, but I'm just saying it's your Twilio account. It's it's your own risk that you would be taking on. So the option's there, throwing that out there. The other thing that you can do is you can just export these into a CSV, so that way it pops out a list for you. And lastly, you can export to a GHL account. And so by doing that, you basically can choose the account. And then what you can do is add a tag. Now, here's the reason why you would want to do this. Let's say you bulk up and you put maybe 1,000 leads inside your Go High Level account with a tag. You could then enter them into a drip campaign in Go High Level, where it's now doing a cold outreach. It sends them an email, sends them a voicemail drop, maybe hit some up with the voice bot, those kinds of things. And now you're kind of hitting them from different angles. So you can absolutely do that. Now, coming up here in the very near future, you're going to be able to actually just take this entire feature and just put it into a custom menu link inside your Go High Level account. And that means that your end users will be able to use this as well. They'll be able to resell this as well, which is going to be awesome. We don't have limits on it right now. You'll notice it says remaining searches this month. That's only there as a placeholder, because we're going to eventually allow you as the agency to put in impose limits for your end users. So that way, if you create custom plans, you can say, hey, you get this many searches on this plan. Right now, you don't have any actual limits on your account, so feel free to go at it and just start using it and searching it. But like I said, do not get discouraged if you're searching and you see the data is not there yet. There are our database is going to be 5-6 times as large as it is right now over the next week and a half. So just, hold your trousers. Anyways, I hope you guys love this feature. Let me know down below. I'll tell you what's coming here in the near future. You're going to have a LinkedIn scraper. You're going to have a GMB scraper. You're going to have a lot of stuff. And I use that word scraper, but it's more of a list builder. I am a fan of trying to do things in a way that's scalable. So licensed use, where, we're purchasing licensed database that gets updated regularly. And the reason I find that to just be a better solution overall is because the data comes back faster. We can offer unlimited, and it's much more scalable.